isn't our fellow strangers again. Look who it is, Toodles. Look.
You gotta let it fade out a little bit.
I heard you talking before me.
Beautiful intro. Who made that, man? Who made that intro? I wonder.
Yours truly and yours wholy.
They ought to get a raise.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I concur. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Traversing the Strange World with Peace and Toodles.
That's me. Toodles.
And I'm Peace.
That's me.
Right here in this chair.
I'm Toodles.
Today, we got pretty good views for our last episode discussing masculinity. The episode was entitled Manhood and Balance. We don't have a name necessarily picked out for this one, but this one's going to orient around
a similar theme, but taken in a different direction.
Yes, various masculine archetypes within old stories, myth, the Bible.
You could say mythical.
Ancient cultures. Yes,
masculinity.
Mythical masculinity.
M and M right there.
Oh,
M and M. Mythical masculinity. Good mythical morning. Anybody ever watch that show? Dude, that thing was on when I was in high school.
I hope we can interview them one day.
Rhett and Link?
Oh, yeah. If we could.
Wow, I'm surprised you know them.
Darla actually listens to them a lot more than I do. And she's a big fan. And I'm familiar.
Wow.
I've been told we have similar vibes to them. Maybe. Possibly.
You've been told?
Probably not.
By who? Your wife?
My wife.
Well, who's who? Actually, I already know who's who, but yeah.
What, you be Link?
Of course. I have the glasses and brown hair.
True. I have the beard, light red.
Yeah, I like black hair, though.
Yes.
It's not blonde.
I used to have long hair. I used to have a man bun at one point.
I remember.
At one point in my journey of manhood, I had a man bun.
As did I once.
What?
Yeah.
I remember that. You've had long hair of varying levels throughout.
Right now my hair is short.
Yep.
Number 2 on the sides and 2 inches on top, if you care, with a fade. And before it was just all of it was long. Before that, down to my shoulders. I could ponytail it, man bun it, whatever. And then before that, it was short. And before that, it was a man bun, but it was like an undercut, where it's like shaved on the sides, the back, it's long on top.
Did you have that when you were in California or Arizona?
Yeah, I am Michigan before I left. But somebody didn't want to hang out with me anymore at that time, so probably wouldn't know.
It's not that I didn't want to hang out with you. I was very depressed and I was burying myself in work.
Mm-hmm. Well,
how about we roll on to that?
Do you think that was a masculine thing to do?
What?
Just hide away and pretend the world's problems don't exist, distracting yourself with
I wasn't pretending
duties.
The world's problems didn't exist. I was pretending people didn't exist.
Oh.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah. Focusing on my problems, kind of locking in, getting kind of that energy we sometimes do get from solitude. I just don't think it's healthy to do at the level I did, where you're really, in a way, using work to avoid people.
Well, past psychological issues aside, let's get into our first segment.
Yeah, why don't we do that?
We have
the ponderings of peace.
This is the updates, reflections, and ponderings of Peace and Toodles.
Well, here we are once again, pondering and reflecting and updating folks.
Pondering.
Yes. What have you been pondering lately, Toodles?
Pondering why pondering has nothing to do with ponds. Perhaps the first ponderer was doing so.
He was standing in a pond just thinking about things.
Sitting ashore a pond.
Maybe he had one too many wives. Maybe he had one too many sheep. Maybe his sheep got stolen and he was just pondering this subject.
Indeed.
The archetypal ponderer. In a certain sense, the ancestor to all ponderers, as a previous guest of our show, one of our favorites, Professor Michael Northrup, a.k.a. the Shaman.
Yes, pondering. So anyway, about that. Yeah, I don't know what I've been pondering lately. I've been pondering my situation with work, versus like spending, the 16 hours a day at work. Is that, worth sacrificing what I could be doing here at home to propagate my alternative career in media and music and whatnot,
Like doing that completely, or finding something
No, like a
else
balance
to do?
between the two,
Okay.
at least, because like job number one takes literally every hour of the day that's not sleeping. Then you get home and whatever time you spend eating or playing with children is time that you're taking away from your sleep.
There's
so
been
it's like,
times you'll text me at like 3 in the morning. You're up already.
yeah, after getting home at 8 the night before. Yeah. That's my life.
It's trucker life.
Pondering. Is it worth it? Is it worth it, folks? Strangers? Should I look for something else?
What is another trade Toodles could pursue whilst simultaneously pouring himself into his music and other endeavors to a level that is satisfactory? Find out next time.
Yep, so what have you been pondering?
Well, so to bring up Professor Northrup, the shaman that we interviewed, and he's introduced this idea to us that exists within shamanism, that all people within a certain trade, like, the lawn care people, the gardener people, they're like the ancestors of, like, when you take on a certain trade, you become the descendant of all people who had throughout their life practiced that trade.
That was an interesting concept.
Yes.
Like it's in your blood.
Right. And he also talked about how part of the shamanic path is talking and communicating with the ancestors. And so I was thinking, I'm somebody who, I think I have OCD. My therapist has also said she thinks I have OCD. She's not a psychiatrist, though, so I'm not diagnosed. But me and you, we're both the types of guy to really kind of like, if it's... We'll have different things we obsess over, right? We're sitting there, nitpicking it to the last detail. That, in times past, with my business, has left me on jobs.
Analysis paralysis.
Yes, on jobs so long, touching up every little detail till I'm happy with it. Well, I was thinking. I'm not saying that I believe this is what OCD is, but I was thinking about his idea of ancestors and how they communicate to us. Mm-hmm. And part of the shamanic path is knowing how to communicate with them. I thought about framing my OCD as the archetypal lawn care ancestors speaking into my mind and nitpicking over my little details. Now,
you're going to turn more OCD that way.
Well, no. I was actually thinking no, because if you think about your OCD like a teacher who's trying to teach you, would you just let a mentor just run you around and boss you around, control you? No. So I listen. I'm going to listen to my OCD. I'm going to ponder it, think about it, but I'm not going to let it drive me like a slave master. I'm going to let it guide me like a thoughtful teacher.
Open-minded consideration of a presented option.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a student and a teacher.
Well, so you want to get into the girth of the episode?
So, our topic of discussion today is mythical masculinity.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot of enthusiasm in your voice. Yeah, so today we're going to go over different masculine archetypes within old stories, the Bible, myth, old culture. So,
what's first on the list?
Some of you may have heard of this guy named Carl Jung. Some may have not. But he was a Swiss psychologist who, his time here on Earth was...
Shout out to Switzerland.
Yeah, hey. Shout out to... No, it's Sweden.
Oh, our listener. Hey, yeah. Sweden listener. Shout out to him.
Hey, shout out to Swedish listeners of ours. Love you guys. So Carl Jung. Within myth, he identified 4 different masculine archetypes that constantly across culture reappear in myth. The first one is the king.
The king?
The king.
Okay.
The next one is the warrior.
The warrior.
Then after that, we
Must
have
be the enemy. Next.
the magician.
Oh, the magician. Okay.
And then we have the lover.
And the lover.
Yes.
These are archetypes of men.
Yes. All men are one of these.
Lover,
multiple
magician.
ones. Or multiple ones in varying degrees. So this isn't to say what masculinity is. This is...
Obviously, I'm like 25% each one. How perfect they are.
So, let us discuss the king first.
The king.
The king.
I want to do the magician.
Actually, yeah, let's start out with the lover and the magician. You do the magician and I'll do the lover.
The magician, known for knowledge, insight, and transformation. The magician is the thinker, the analyst, the seeker of hidden knowledge, and the bridge to the unconscious. Represents intuition, insight, learning, and transformation. Healthy magician energy, the benevolent magicians, they want to understand the unseen. Perhaps maybe be in harmony with it. They like solving problems, turning chaos into meaning, teaching and mentoring, and self-reflection. The evil side of magic, we have manipulators. They use secrets, deception, mind games to work about their will, regardless of who it might hurt. The detached trickster, cynical, apathetic, endless analysis without action, analysis paralysis, our little business term for the day. And then we got some examples that Isaiah, Mr. Peace here, gave us. We got Merlin, Gandalf, and the Hermit. Why is Hermit got tarot in parentheses?
Because that's what the tarot card represents.
This archetype?
Mm-hmm.
The magician?
The magician archetype. He who has set his mind on knowledge.
This must be you.
The magician?
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking about the these 4 archetypes and which one I do identify most. And right now in life, I would say I identify with the magician archetype the most.
I knew that.
But this is going to be a lot of times this archetype in myth, they find their place in the story as the mentor, the Gandalf. What was that baboon from
the right hand man,
Lion King?
The guy behind the king.
Rafiki? Yeah. Yeah. But in a more unhealthy, darker sense, it's also the jester.
Rashiki?
Yeah. They're often the aide to the king, sometimes the counselor, sometimes the prophet. So think of prophets of the Old Testament like Nathan to King David. They're the advisor to the king often. Or the mentor to the warrior archetype, or the lover. They're often a mentor to various archetypes. Their job is the knowledge and the either distribution of that knowledge, or they use that knowledge for darkness. So think of your archetypal Sith lords. Think of your archetypal Lokis, trickster gods.
Manipulators.
Yes, they use their knowledge to manipulate and sometimes make a total mockery of our archetypal hero.
Bend reality to their whims.
Yes. So another archetype is the lover. The attributes associated with that are passion, presence, and connection. This is the archetype of aliveness, emotion, sensuality, creativity, and connection to beauty. I think this is often the archetypal child. I think a lot of men begin with this is like the... At one point, I think we start out as the lover. The healthy lover. They focus on emotional richness, appreciation of beauty, art, and music, deep relationships, vitality, and playfulness. The shadow lovers. So
shadow, like evil lovers, the evil side of love.
The evil archetype.
The evil archetype.
This comes in the form of addiction, obsession, hedonism, the pursuit of pleasure, overstimulation,
chasing that dopamine,
impotent lovers, numbness, depression, disconnection. So think of your archetypal party animal. Your archetypal
shout out to my fellow lover archetypes.
Dionysus, Orpheus. So oftentimes I think this is the archetypal boy, we start out as a lover, and I think when oftentimes we rediscover this in men through art,
well, I mean,
relationship perhaps,
the healthy attributes, like kind of if you think of it from a child's perspective, or from the perspective of like imagining a child. Emotional richness, appreciation of beauty, art, music, like think nature, deep relationships, vitality, and playfulness. Like that's a child right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah. Well, and
the good parts.
A man who gives himself to pleasure and addiction, one would call the man-child. He's pointing at something. Oh, there's a little spider came to spy on Peace and Tools. Spider, or is that a CSI nanobot?
It's a CIA drone, bro.
Yeah. CIA nanobot.
I never seen a spider like that. Just saying.
He heard we were talking about.
Hey, when's my job interview? Let's go. I want a remote view for you.
We see you, CIA spider.
I want to learn how so I can spy on my friends and enemies,
And so the dark side of the lover, back to this. The dark side of the lover.
Hedonism.
That would oftentimes, oftentimes a man who gives himself to pleasure, no responsibility. It's a man-child. An unactualized boy.
You mother basement dwelling masturbators, you. That's who this is about.
They never follow the call to adventure. Maybe they hear the still small voice, but they hear other voices, and they stay in town. They don't leave. They don't follow the call to the wilderness, the call to the wild, the call to adventure. They never encountered the magician. And they never become our next archetype, which is...
the warrior.
The warrior. Go ahead and read that, Toodles.
His essence is directional energy, like the focus, courage, discipline, action, and the ability to confront adversity, like the stereotypical masculinity model. As viewed in
this is focused. This is specifically focused on focused and discipline.
This is on the good attributes of those traits and not the negative, because they can be taken to extremes also. Let's make ourselves clear here. We have the healthy warrior energy, including clear boundaries, a mission-oriented mindset. This person stands up for principles, trains the body and mind to actively be growing, and acts decisively in any given situation. Then on the negative side of the spectrum, we have these shadow versions of the warrior, which is the sadist, addicted to cruelty, aggression, just for the sake of pleasure. Cruelty and aggression for its own sake. He's a masochist, given into self-sabotage, burnout, letting others walk all over them. Our examples would be David, a samurai, and Batman.
Batman. So yes. So this is the actualization of skill. It's aiming skill and talent at something.
Practicing your skill, becoming better, becoming the you that you know that you can be, fulfilling potential.
This archetypal character starts out as the lover, and he hears a call to adventure. And if he's a healthy lover, he'll hear that call to adventure and he'll follow it. And that's when he'll become the warrior. And
we're working up our existence, apparently, to higher archetypes as time goes on.
I think all men at some point, so this is a good example, actually. King David embodies all these archetypes. The next one's going to be the king, and he embodies the lover because he wrote the Psalms, and he was a harpist as well. So he was a musical man and a man of poetry, a man of art, as well as he's the archetypal warrior.
And then we can see like the self-reflection attributes of the magician in him too, just in some of these psalms that he wrote it's just the internal cries of his heart in desperate times, in times of praise, always connecting to God.
And the archetypal king, he is in good standing with the magician. The magician is his mentor. What did King Saul, the bad king, do to all of the prophets and priests? Yeah.
And he didn't heed the word. David mentoring too, like Jonathan, right? Or was that Saul? Solomon
is his son, yeah. Which, actually, let's go to the last archetype. Then we'll talk about how some men and some characters embody various ones to greater or lesser degrees.
What's our standard that we're pulling these off of?
So
we went with mythical masculinity.
This is by Carl Jung. He was
What's the time frame for this writing?
Early 1900s.
Okay.
Some psychologists, they analyze myth, poetry, our ancient creations as it's all part of the human mind. It's all a reflection of the human mind, especially when an archetype is something that across cultures we find. It's like something that's very distinctly human. We constantly are telling stories with these archetypes in them. And I think that's because these archetypes, to some degree, live in all of us. So, the final one, and then we're going to go over some stories with archetypes, and then we're going to go over some stories that are in particularly biblical, of the biblical sort.
Okay.
So, the king represents order, blessing, and purpose. His essence is, the king is the center. It's the archetype of responsibility, stability, benevolence, authority, generativity, and giving structure to chaos. The king creates order, protects the vulnerable. This is the healthy king. The healthy king creates order, protects the vulnerable, blesses others. So he brings stability to other people's lives. He's a beacon of strength.
The rock of the family.
Yes, this also I believe can be the archetypal father.
It sounds like it.
The archetypal king and the archetypal father, I think, are the one and the same. The shadow king, the shadow father. He's a tyrant. He's controlling, paranoid, destructive. Think of the father of Zeus in our Greek creation story episode. He was so paranoid of one of his sons betraying him that he consumed every son. He wiped out any potential heir to the throne.
Mm-hmm.
He's a weakling. He's passive, avoids responsibility, collapses under pressure. And then, so within many kings, we see the other archetypes to greater or lesser degrees. Like King David's a good example of the lover and warrior king, and King Solomon is a good example of magician king archetype. You know, because he had the Proverbs. He was said to know wisdom that no one else knew.
Mm-hmm.
He was given jewels and pearls that other
riches and wisdom that no man had previously or afterwards seen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wisest man to ever live.
And then
the wisest man ever had 700 and something wives. Interesting.
And then we have like non-canonical stories of King Solomon, like the Testament of Solomon, where King Solomon gets this ring given to him by the Archangel Gabriel or Michael, to where he can summon and control any demon he wants with this ring. And so there is this demon that was tormenting the head of building the temple, and he summons the demon that was tormenting him, and he forces this demon to work on the temple. And throughout this night, King Solomon summons every demon in the world and makes them confess what they're the demon of, and then he sends them to work on the temple. This was probably written by Christians later on who were not fond of the temple. So oftentimes we with the king magician, I think a good combination of the magician and the king is the father. You know?
Yeah, like the self-reflection to keep growing and then putting that growth into a form of leadership.
Yes. Yeah. When insight meets leadership. Oh, it's a little visit from Jonathan's wife.
Thank you.
Dropping off a little something for us.
A little coffee from Big B's. Look at that. Originally from Isaiah. Anyway. Hey, shout out to Peace for bringing the coffees.
From Big B. Big B is yet again traversing the strange world with Peace and Toodles.
So how do these archetypes work together? A mature man goes through all four and, has the positive attributes of all four, right?
Mm-hmm. I think that's the Renaissance man. The man who he values strength and discipline of the warrior. He values the emotion and art of the lover. He values the wisdom and insight of the magician, as well as he realizes the importance
of life.
He realizes the importance of being a mentor. I think that's something that I think all men should strive to be the type of man that they didn't have in their life.
The king gives the purpose to his life. The warrior in him executes the purpose. The magician understands the meaning of the purpose, and the lover gives him the passion and the fun along the ride to enjoy the present moments in life. That'd be a nicer way to put it, I think.
I think so.
It's nice. Yeah. And this is Carl Jung's view. You said psychologist? Psychiatrist.
Psychologist.
He
was after Freud. He was actually...
So Carl Jung's 4 masculine archetypes in biblical stories. Mm-hmm. The king archetype, order, blessing, and responsibility. The core idea here is that, the king would bring stability and justice, the good, benevolent side of authority and vision to, just his daily life. When corrupted through some kind of outside force or internal dialogues being lost, he becomes what we looked at as like the shadow king. the tyrant, the weak king,
the archetypal King Saul,
the archetypal pussy,
the archetypal Scar from The Lion King.
yeah,
And that would make Mufasa, who like has always been a masculine archetype that like it's like even though he's an animal and he's not like a real person within fiction, within myth, I think to me he's always been a good male archetype to strive towards. Represents the balanced father and king.
The biblical example of our positive king is one that Isaiah already mentioned, but we got a little list here for King David: the mature king, the positive king, the light king as opposed to the shadow or evil king, upside down king if we're talking about Stranger Things references. King David brings unity to Israel. He establishes order and culture and shows mercy to Saul's household. Mephibosheth shows mercy to Saul individually himself too when he could have killed him, and instead just clips a little piece of his robe off to show him later and say, hey man. Also, and that kind of shows the magician, too, in his regret of even doing that, because he felt like he disrespected the Lord's anointed, Saul, just from cutting a little piece of his garment off. Like, he could have killed the guy, and he still felt guilty just for cutting it.
The magician has the reverence for the supernatural.
Yeah.
To where King Saul seemed to lack some reverence for the supernatural. Many times he did not heed the words of his prophet. Again, the archetypal magician, Samuel. He didn't listen to the prophet Samuel. When King David fucks up and sleeps with Bathsheba, and Nathan comes to him and gives him correction, he quickly heeds the words of Nathan, and he repents. Shows regret. So that's an example of the good king's relationship to the magician, and
that moment in David's life right there is one that I hope that I always have in my heart. Immediate, turn when you recognize something that's not good.
Yep. Yeah.
He shows the shadow side too, unfortunately, with Bathsheba. That story, I'll keep it G for the most part. David's on his roof, sees this chick taking a bath on her roof, across the way. And
her husband's gone at war.
Well, David sends her husband into the front lines.
Not yet. This was after he found out she was pregnant.
I'm cutting to the chase.
Yeah. He sleeps with her, gets her pregnant.
And then, he's like, what the frick do? I got to get this husband out of the picture. So he sends him to the front lines of the battle in the next battle, and he, lo and behold, gets killed, because that's what happens when
he was a loyal, good soldier.
And David ends up getting the girl in the end. Well, I guess he does. It doesn't really mention her that much afterwards.
Oh yeah, no, it does. She was King Solomon's mother.
Oh well, there we go. And anyway, David Bathsheba, he had a guy killed to fulfill his lusts, basically. Mm-hmm. And then we have him taking the passive route in leadership with Absalom, too.
When his son Absalom rebelled against him, he spoke to various soldier or generals who were kind of on the iffy with King David, and he got them to switch over to his side. And then, he takes over the kingdom, and King David pretty passively leaves. And then the biggest thing he did was on top of the roof of King David's stronghold, he has sex with a couple of King David's concubines in front of everybody, so everybody can see. By the way, the prophet Nathan, when he went to King David to correct him, he said, your children will die, and basically the public is going to see your women getting sexed by some other guy.
Yeah. It's not all rated G for the family.
Mm-mm.
We get into Solomon as another example.
Solomon, he asks for wisdom rather than power or wealth, but gets that still. He builds the temple and sets national identity. It's said in the Bible, according to the Bible, that King Solomon...
And that temple is a temple of fame.
There was gold. Gold was basically, it was like rocks. It was so easy to find in the days of King Solomon. But he later slips into the addicted, decadent king. So maybe there's a bit of lover in there. You know, he lets his passions for women control him.
The flesh took him over.
Yeah. So we see King David dying as there's maybe he's the father king archetype with a little bit of magician and still a lot of lover sprinkled in there because he was always writing the Psalms.
Then there's the guy that I would always picture as like Israel's first king.
Moses.
The guy that led him to freedom is the freaking George Washington of Israel.
Yeah.
On the front lines of the revolution.
And he's probably the best example of the balance between king and magician as well.
Yeah, dude. Okay, first of all, getting talked to in a burning bush. All right, second of all, the miraculous way that he even survived.
Yeah.
Didn't drown by getting floated in a little freaking woven basket down a river. The biggest river in the country.
He is the archetypal stranger in a strange land. He said, I have been a stranger in a strange land.
This ain't a forest stream, folks. This is like the Mississippi on drugs. Like, this is a big river.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably fast and a lot of current and a lot of big predators in there. So that's miraculous in itself.
Yeah.
And then he gets spoken to by God, like, that magician archetype. And then he creates structure too, kind of like the king would, because of his magician side, goes up onto Mount, Hermon, and into this UFO ship and gets the Ten Commandments.
Gets the Torah, the Law of Moses.
Diana Pasulka, I think that's the lady that I heard talk about that went into the archives, some of them in the Vatican, and found that interesting little translation.
Right on.
That the word clouds, a lot of times in the Old Testament, could also be translated to mean some sort of craft.
Or shadow.
Which is fascinating.
Shadow
when you
something.
Start looking up all the places that it says clouds. Yeah. So Moses got the 10 Commandments and, broke them and then got them again. Made law and order, led them as the person communicating on their behalf to God through the desert.
He was the mediator between the people and the divine order, which I think is, again, perfect balance of magician and king. Yeah. We're going to see Jesus embodies all of these archetypes. Obviously. That's what makes him freaking Jesus.
He's the lover because of Gnostic Jesus. Well, he's laughing.
You mean the magician? Wait, lover?
Lover's
laughing.
Playful.
Yes, Gnostic Jesus loves to laugh. So we have the warrior archetype: strength, discipline, courage. The core idea of the warrior is that the warrior fights for a noble cause. That's the healthy warrior. He protects others, enforces boundaries. The bad version is the sadistic warrior or the passive weakling. David versus Goliath, the pure warrior. Courage, focus, decisiveness. Not violence for its own sake, violence in defense of a community. We have Joshua.
Violence like standing up for what's right when you know it is right.
Yeah. We have Samson, who would be a good example of a shadow warrior. Shadow lover and warrior.
Yeah.
Because he spent
going
his time
blind and getting his eyes gouged out,
hanging out with women. That's what led to his downfall. He just
and then in an act of suicide, got revenge on the people that gouged his eyes out.
Yep.
Joshua, dude, he led one of my favorite stories.
Oh, the sun standing still.
Dude, the sun standing still to give the Israelites time to finish this battle and whoop the pants off their freaking
And so
rivals.
perhaps we see a little bit of magician and warrior.
And warrior. Yes.
Magician, warrior. When we're done, I'd like to talk about this in terms of our lives and
Zillow
archetypes.
says there's one new house near me for sale.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you. The magician archetype. Insight, transformation, knowledge. The magician sees what others cannot, mediates hidden knowledge, interprets symbols, and offers wisdom. The shadow side of the magician is manipulation or occult power used for ego. So think of your archetypal cult later. Pastor Ron. Biblical examples of a good
magic
magician.
being good in the Bible.
Joseph,
Oh no,
a dream interpreter.
we just lost all our Christian
Daniel,
viewers.
also a dream interpreter. Jesus, of course, Jesus. The miracles he performed. And Jungian magician.
So
like
if miracles
there's
count
a
as
note
magic,
here.
well, for sure.
There's a note here where Carl Jung often identified the magician as the transformer. So, magician-esque things about Jesus. He taught in parables, hidden knowledge, performs healings in symbolic acts, reveals the mystery of the kingdom, and transfigures the meaning of the law. And then we have our prophets, as we mentioned before. The prophets are the archetypal magician. Jesus was a prophet, amongst other things, as the story goes. Isaiah, Ezekiel, Elijah. Elijah's probably my favorite Old Testament prophet.
Enoch would be mine. Just putting it out there.
If you include the Book of Enoch, yeah.
Or Paul. Paul had a prophetic vision in end times.
Mystical vision.
Is the missing chapter of Acts found in the Apocrypha. It's in that Joseph Lumpkin book we talked about on that phone call episode that I don't know if it's going to be before or after this one.
The prophet, the shaman. The shaman is also a good term for the archetypal magician. Yeah. The lover archetype. Do you want to read that?
A witch, perhaps?
Witch doctor, yeah.
The lover archetype: connection, emotion, embodiment. The core idea is the lover feels deeply, connects to others, senses beauty, intimacy, desire, and grief. The shadow version is addiction, lust, and emotional chaos. Biblical examples include the Song of Solomon, the embodied lover. It's a whole book written in celebration of desire, beauty, connection, lover archetype in its sensual, earthy form. And you can take it from the view of its Jesus's love from him in the church. The arguments are countless on what either side of that you want to go on, but I think it fits perfectly either way. We have David's grief over Jonathan and Absalom. They had deep emotional bonds, spent a lot of time with each other in camaraderie, common goals, a raw expression of love and loss, and David is both the king and lover here. Hosea, his love for Gomer, the prostitute, is symbolic of God's torn, yearning heart. He was told by God to marry a prostitute.
And then God was
so
like...
he would be a living
example
of
like,
Israel.
See that whore that guy's married to? Well, that's you, Israel.
That's Israel.
That's how you've been to me.
Constantly leaving God for other pleasures, other gods. It shows the lover's capacity for compassion, forgiveness, and longing. Jesus has the lover archetype in the compassion for the marginalized, the emotional presence, like weeping over
Jesus
Lazarus,
wept.
and
washing his disciples' feet,
and the stress of when he was about to be crucified. He was praying intently in the garden, like God. I don't want to go through this, please, but if it's your will, I have to.
Yes.
Take this cup from me. Praying so intensely and in such emotional turmoil that his sweat was like drops of blood. Intimate table fellowship, the Last Supper. Also, we see there the betrayal of Judas, too. speaks of God as one who desires mercy, not sacrifice. We have the forgiving God, the merciful God of the New Testament here. In putting it all together, the integrated man in Scripture, the fully archetypal masculine figure,
fully actualized
according
man.
to Carl Jung, would say that biblical figures often show multiple archetypes, but the most powerful characters integrate them. David, the warrior, the king, the lover, and shadow sides of each one. Moses was the king and magician. He could even be the shadow side of the magician too, going directly against the divine inspiration that he had in the commandments. Instead of speaking to a rock like God told him to, he hit the rock with his staff like he did to get water out of a rock last time. But this time, that's not what God said. He ignored that spiritual connection, that inspiration that he got, that communication with God, and went against it. And that's that shadow side of the magician. Jesus, magician, king, lover, and nonviolent warrior in moral courage, like standing up,
One
flipping
could
the tables.
say he was the lover and the magician for his first coming, and for his second coming, he represents the king and the warrior.
Yeah, we even see some emotional exasperation out of Jesus sometimes too, when he's like, when the
Overturning the
disciples
tables.
couldn't cast out the demon, he was like, "Oh, wicked and perverse generation, how long will I have to put up
How
with you?"
long am I going to be amongst them?
Yeah, dude. He's
Like, hey, Jesus, that makes me
frustrated.
feel kind of sad.
Or like, your generation begs for a sign, yet none will be given to it except the signs of Moses or
Jonah.
Jonah, yeah.
Jonah.
Then we have Joseph, the magician and lover, the forgiveness of his brothers. He supported them through those years of famine. He let them sit down with him in meals in Egypt. Could have killed him. Even let the dad think that Benjamin was dead for a while when he wasn't. This makes biblical characters
He also,
feel
in
real.
a certain sense, would represent a king because he was in a place of power.
Yeah, he was second in command under Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Had full command over all of Potiphar's stuff too. This makes biblical characters feel real. They're psychologically whole and not just flat symbols. 1 hour.
So, you were saying, what archetypes do you identify with?
The lover.
Now that we have a pretty thorough understanding of what they represent.
The lover.
Lover.
Playfulness. Flirtiness.
You have said before that you love to make people laugh. It's one of your greatest joys in life.
It is.
I also see magician archetypes.
Nate
Would you?
Bison's trying to take a comical turn with a couple songs right now, so,
You're a very technical fellow.
It's the OCD.
Yes, very. But in our OCD where our inner
channel
magician
it into being good at
Yes.
technical stupidity.
What? And then I think a lot of us, like, when we use the things we learn to put into action, that's when you encounter the warrior. This is discipline, when you find, like, discipline. And I think oftentimes
It's like when that tarot card girl, she read my one that's like, you make progress and then get beat back a little bit, then make progress, get beat back. It's like every time you get back up and start, like, fighting through tears, it's that warrior, I think, that comes through in those moments. The king, I guess, is just leading the family, making them feel safe, providing what they need.
I think
Giving my wife an option to work or not, whatever she wants.
mentorship. Just, I think that is a good thing to, regardless if you have kids or not. I think when you come into adulthood, you should try to be the type of adult that you didn't have as a kid.
I agree.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy path either, because remember, you don't have an example to go off of.
Right. But you know what you didn't have.
You know what to
You know what
avoid.
the lack thereof is, yeah.
And you definitely know the negative things to avoid too.
I think in a mentor, there's the magician, or there's a combination of the magician and the father. I would say, I would say as a kid, I was very much a lover as a kid. I thought about things in a very, very emotional way, you know? I was always thinking about how people would feel about things. I wasn't a very mean kid. I was very focused on making people happy. And then when I really started to dedicate myself to studying the Bible, I would say that's when I started to encounter a bit of a magician, Isaiah. And, you know, like working out, and then the discipline that I executed in studying the Bible, that was the warrior. And I don't know, I think after a certain point into my adulthood, I think I, to certain extents, repressed the magician and the lover. And I think certain experience, like some of our like psychedelic experience with psychedelic macaroni,
macaroni,
I think that helped me repress my lover and my magician. You know, and I think what made me fall in love with like learning about spirituality, learning about stuff like this and discussing it and pursuing dreams, it was feeling again. Letting myself feel the appreciation for it. And then that inspired me. And now I'm using magic and warrior skills to create this podcast. I think
a magician.
I think I desire to be a father archetype as an old man rather than a king. You know? Lead more by example. I do want to bring stability not just to my family, but the farther along I progress in life, I would like to bring more stability to other people.
Well, that's the good thing about these archetypes that we looked at, because the positives are there to look. And even though this is dated quite a bit by now, it still holds its weight in the positive attributes that you can see in these examples of being a good leader to those around you, being a good example at the very least, you know, is where that starts. Being the best you can be, fulfilling the potential you know that you have. When there's something you know needs to be done, just do it. And spend time, have a spiritual grounding through it all, too. Be the magician. You spend time meditating, praying, whatever you do to connect and find your inner purpose, you do that. And along the way, you enjoy the ride. You enjoy the process, the relationships made, the progress you make in yourself, and the physical things you do, the spiritual, emotional things you do. Enjoy the process along the way. That's the lover, the playfulness, the don't forget to live in the present while you're building a better future.
The first for adventure. That's, I think, what can drive the hard work and the discipline.
And then just make sure that every day you execute on that result that you want. And that's the warrior. And that's the positive embodiment of all four.
And the magician is like the refining of the discipline, the hard work. You're like, it's the self-critique of it. You know, you take applying knowledge to action, how to make that action better, how to improve it.
And these aren't strictly only attributes for men to achieve either.
No. Like, all men, whether it's the dark or the healthy, we all are these archetypes. This is simply talking about how culture and myth has framed it at various times. And, you know, I think it is, we see things like this, we see archetypes because they are deeply human, you know?
Yes, we're just visiting it, saying that these are all, for a man, positive attributes to have.
Or non-positive, if you're on the shadow side.
Yes, and the shadow side, the opposite of all these are definitely negative traits to avoid. Listening to the negative voice inside your mind, doubting and being passive, analysis paralysis. These are all good and bad examples we see for men. And there are going to obviously be overlaps for women too, just putting that disclaimer in there.
These archetypes do apply to women, for sure.
It applies to everyone.
Mm-hmm. The queen would be,
the
or the king would be the
perspective Carl
queen.
Jung is writing from is, look, this is from man to men.
Yeah. And this is,
but there's value to be gained from that.
Yeah.
From everyone.
Yes.
For everyone.
Yes. This isn't to say what a man is. This is simply to show the spectrum of how men have been portrayed in myth and story.
Yep. Disclaimers.
Anybody.
I think people get us by now.
Hey, you're the one that started on
You want to wrap
disclaimers.
it up? You got more?
I have nothing more to say about this topic.
Well, in that case, let's get into that final segment.
Listen up!
Listen up.
All right, folks, whether you like it or not, we're going to give you some musical suggestions. Feel free to do whatever you want with these.
The Wanderer by Dion.
The Wanderer. Ooh.
I was listening to some oldies today.
Run Around Sue
Yesterday.
by Dion.
Run Around Sue's good, too.
Mm-hmm.
Piano Man by Billy Joel.
Here's a story I once knew. Well, since we're going for with oldies, Money for Nothing by Dire Straits.
September by Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits.
Yes. Oh, yes. Somebody send us a video of you playing that on guitar. Whew.
Fame by David Bowie. Starman by David Bowie. There's a starman waiting in the sky. He'd like to come and meet us, but he thinks he'd blow our minds.
Vienna by Billy Joel. Me and Bobby McGee. Janis Joplin.
Lust for Life. We have that. There we have that lover. Lust for Life by Iggy Pop.
Money by Pink Floyd.
Oh, hey.
7/8 timing, that one there. That's interesting.
Let Her Cry by Hootie and the Blowfish.
Oh, Black Betty.
By Ram Jam.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've given them enough to listen to.
Dancing Queen. By Queen. Or ABBA, I mean.
ABBA.
Dancing Queen.
ABBA. Which
ABBA.
is spelled the same way as Abba, which is Aramaic for father. In case you didn't know.
ABBA, I think, is the 4 initials of the band members' names. That's what my dad said.
He would know. He's a ABBA nerd. ABBA nerd.
Kinda. Yeah, he listens to ABBA and then calls my Christian contemporary music demonic.
Did he really?
Well, satanic, I think he said.
My parents called Christian bands like Under Oath or Demon Hunter. They were a bit concerned. My dad, he kind of came around to it.
I can see it with like screamo artists like that. And dude, I'm talking like Chris Tomlin.
Oh yeah, that's
Michael W. Smith. Like,
okay, Lonnie, come on.
Vertical Church.
Come on, Lonnie. Come on, Lonnie.
Yeah.
What you
just because it's got a bass line. Sheesh. So anyway, thanks for listening.
Yes, until next time, let's keep traversing this strange world with inquisitiveness and curiosity.
A little bit of swag. Just
so gently nuzzled in there. And let's remember to be neighborly to folks, because, we all just kind of walked into this life thing, and so that makes us all just strangers in a strange land.
Strangers in a strange land.
Yeah, so let's remember to be neighborly to folks, because at the end of the day, we're all just strangers in a strange land. What?
Strangers in a strange land.
Okay. Well, usually we do that in unison, but
Remember to be neighborly to each other because at the end of the day, we're all just strangers in a strange land.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Till next time, peace.
Toodles. That's me.
If you would like to contact us, email us at peaceandtoodles@gmail.com. Until next time, salutations, my fellow strangers.
What will they think of next?